Shit. Hello and welcome back to Sports for Dummies. In today's episode, we are previewing the Sydney Swans for the 2024 AFL season. Johnny, you know the drill. Let's get into it.
Well, Sydney came off the back of a really good 2022. They obviously had the very disappointing grand final appearance when they were smashed by Geelong. And like all clubs, after they suffer a big loss in grand finals, they have dropped off. They really have, followed that pattern. If you go through it all, teams that get destroyed in a grand final, they almost get defeated mentally.
Yeah.
Sydney still made the 8, but they were very different sides than the hard-edging, defensive side we saw in 2022. Just scraped into the finals and, they were dealt with by Carlton and really didn't think, they were going to go more further than that.
Yeah, what do you reckon happened? Because I feel like for them, making the granny 2022, and it's kind of the forgotten conversation. Really, I forgot that they made it.
We were doing the research, and it's amazing that we forgot it because 2022 Geelong, Sydney were awesome.
Yeah,
in that final series, they beat Melbourne at the MCG by 4 or 5 goals and were clearly the better side. They got out to an 8-goal lead against a good Collingwood side. They only won by under a kick, but to be 8 goals up, they dealt with a very a Collingwood side that will win the premiership the next year. Number one defensive team in the league. And then they were just Geelong rocked up and just smacked them in the mouth in that first quarter and off she wrote. There is a history, though, of sides after they do all this work, make the grand final, and then they get destroyed.
I guess it's tired legs, right? Like you've done all this hard work. You got to the very pinnacle of where you need to be, and then all of a sudden you lose on the big dance, and it's
you're destroyed too. So imagine having this super year because you lose a grand final. There's no, of course you want to win, but you've lost no friends. But imagine you do all this work. You're so much better than everyone else, and yet you're still a 10, 15 goal side.
Yeah,
away from where you should be. And there is a history of sides that get flogged.
Yeah,
who really, it sort of psychologically takes them a while to recover. Adelaide for a few years after, they were destroyed by Richmond, who, Adelaide finished on top that year, were gone. Port Adelaide in 2007, when they lost that record margin against Geelong, they disappeared for over half a decade.
Yeah.
Like, it is riddled with sides that they get to the ultimate dance. Yeah, but they're so far off the mark. Sydney still made the finals, but they didn't look like it.
Yeah, so the 2023 recap, I'm just going to quickly bring up the ladder for those who can see it. They finished 8th, 12 wins, 10 losses, 1 draw. And they were out straight sets to your Blue Boys.
They were just, the first final, which was fantastic as a Carlton supporter. We really were in control of that game for most of the day. When it's Carlton, that the other side's never out of the contest. So Sydney really showed experience in that last quarter. Yeah. Luke Parker kicked a couple, really brought them back, but they just we beat them on the day. We beat them. We just hang on by a great effort by Jack Martin in the last quarter, but we were the better side. It was just we sort of let them back into it due to inexperience, never been there before. So, Sydney, it's back to it. It'll be interesting to see, I guess, once we dive in, where they're going to end up.
Well, let's jump into their team. You've got a pretty solid, formidable backline. Like, to start off, that doesn't surprise me how their 22 season was so good. You said they were the defensive team of the year?
Yeah, they had the best defense in 2022.
Run through their back pockets, Johnny.
Well, I guess you've got I think I've got a different. So you got Lloyd and Rampy in the back line. You've got McCartan and Francis as key defenders. On that half back line, you've got Blakey and Torrent. So they have so much. They've got Florent, sorry,
and
not
Francis.
And Francis. So I said him as the key backs.
Yep.
They've got great rebounding power.
Fantastic. Lloyd for them was their best. I think he led with marks and then rebound 50s.
Yep.
For their back line. So just this like
Nick Blakely off the half back line. He finished second in their BNF. Rampy's an absolute superstar. Like they've got
Florent 6 in the BNF too. Yeah, like their backlines, they're key.
It's solid. Then you've got in the midfield, Row Bottom, Jordan and McInerney. So a bit of talent there.
Jordan's an inclusion from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we go through the ins and outs, their forward line's the interesting one, yeah? Because you take out Buddy Franklin and it's like a chasm. I actually think this is good because...
Why is that?
As good as Lance Franklin is, his last couple of years, it was sort of kick the ball to Buddy and he just wasn't the player that he was. And football's been figured out that you can't just have one central target. I actually think this gives opportunity for the young kids in terms of McLean and McDonald to form their own way, and it actually Sydney can now spread the ball a little bit, and it's totally understandable. No matter how old Buddy Franklin is, if you see him wanting the ball,
you're going to kick it to him.
You kick it to
the
him.
guy, how many times did he kick 100 goals?
He
Twice?
kicked it once.
He did it at Sydney and he did it at Hawthorn, didn't he?
He only kicked it at Hawthorn. He kicked 1,000 goals at Sydney.
Sorry, it was 1,000. I was like, why did he run on?
He kicked 2 goals, so he kicked in.
Sorry, that was my bad.
So in his fourth year against Carlton in the last round, he kicked his 100.
Yeah.
It was the famous Dave Fev kicked 99, and Hawthorn flooded the back line for it. And then he kicked his 1,000th goal a couple of years ago against the Cats.
I do remember that.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll go through, when we go through the outs, how good he was. But this is where the exciting thing, so this is where Sydney supporters and I guess football in general, like, you got to bear with them. McDonald, McLean and Amati, can they forge their own destiny? Because then you got Papley, who's great when he hits the deck. He's number one for their assists. He just creates a lot of energy.
Well, he's number one. It was number one goal scorer for them in 2023 and number one for goal assists. So he's doing it all. Those three combined, like you said, those key position players, they kicked, I think it was just over 70 goals between them. So can they really take it to another?
Heaney's an interesting one for me because I feel like he's threatening to go to that top tier player.
Level, and does he have it?
He's got it from a talent, but does he have it?
Consistently.
Does it consistently be like their best player?
I think it's hard. I think
we've just got what he can turn it on when he wants to, and I think that's what he is. But he's great overhead. He threatens the goals, and you've got Hayward as well. So their forward line, though they've got some talent, it's their key forwards. Can they produce not another Buddy Franklin? There's only one Buddy Franklin, but another big goal kicker.
I was going to say it's a big expectation. Any of the Sydney players, in their own respect, they're going to be who they are, and I think trying to fill the shoes of Buddy is going to be really hard with one person. I think if they can build a team around those three and have the key position players, if they can get 2 really good key position players, you've seen it happen at Hawthorn when they had that dynasty team. I think it's one of those things, if they can really do it, they've got a really nice squad.
Well, 2 years ago, they as we said, they're in a grand final.
Yeah.
They're in a grand final.
It really is the forgotten grand finalist. I know that sounds bad, but lead into the following and big inclusion. And I think it was their biggest weakness last year. They were 16th in hit-outs and clearances against. So Grundy, what a big inclusion.
He's got a lot to answer for. I know he's been injured and blah, blah, blah. He signed his big contract at Collingwood and hasn't had a kick since. It's been 2 to 3 years. He goes to Melbourne, doesn't work. Is he an NBA player? But he signs his max contract and doesn't get a fucking kick.
So it's funny, right? It's like anyone. You put someone in a position where they're comfortable. What do? They get complacent. It's like you saw that a bit. I'm not going to say Hipwood is the same, but you saw Danaher really step it up with Brisbane. Hipwood got a long contract. He didn't turn it up like he did the season before.
Grundy,
he was very good. I'm not comparing Hipwood. I'm just saying the contract.
If Grundy has a year like Hipwood did, yes. He hasn't touched the ball since he signed this fucking deal.
So the problem is he's still going to get paid up until 2027.
I get that. He's getting
from
paid.
Collingwood.
And Melbourne.
I know.
He's got 3 payments. He's getting paid by everyone. It's beautiful. He's an absolute genius. I don't know why I'm angry at him. Because he's actually an NBA player.
He's done well.
They get paid all this money and don't do fucking anything.
He's got the height for it. Maybe that's
and he's got the right mentality.
Maybe
load manage, take 20 games off. Sorry, guys. But now that you look at these followers, Grundy, Warner, Goulden, Goulden was an absolute superstar last year, one of the favourites for the Brownlow, fourth I think he was, All-Australian. Chad Warner's an absolute star. Like, that is a very good-looking followers. Grundy, it is your time now.
Yeah. Well, Warner won the most contested possessions. So
Bull.
He's the bull. And Goulden, he had the most disposals.
And we will mention there's a couple of players we haven't named because they're injured.
Yeah.
Which when we go through the injury list.
Well, do we want to jump into that now?
Well, we've got the interchange and then we'll go to the injury list.
Yeah, my bad.
I'll let you read that out.
So we've got Campbell.
Yep.
How do you pronounce that? Sheldrick?
Yep, Sheldrick.
Got that right. Roberts,
Yep.
Wicks, and Fox.
Okay,
So we've actually added, you've got the 5 there. Obviously, there's always the sub. We only had the 4 beforehand and we realised it's actually the top 23.
Okay.
We'll jump into the... Do you want to do the ins and outs or do you want to start off with the injury?
I want to bring that injury list up.
All right. So, I mean, big ones. To straight away, you've got 3 key ones. You've got the captain of the Sydney Swans missing, Callum Mills. Now, he did a shoulder injury on his Mad Monday, Johnny. Like, how's that for... Could you imagine... I mean, he got appointed in Feb as their captain. So he's
gone for 12 weeks.
Yeah, he's out till the mid-season. Like, he's done.
That's massive.
It's a big loss.
He's one of the best two-way players in the league.
Yep, 100%.
That's massive.
Him and Lloyd together are very good. So it's hard. That'll be a hard loss for them.
That's huge.
The next one, Taylor Adams, coming from Collingwood. That's their in, and he's going to be out for 4 weeks.
Well, and that's why, I mean, he sort of was pushed out of that Collingwood side. He just wasn't available.
Yeah. And then you've got Lachlan McAndrew with a wrist. He's got a test, so he might be coming in. Then you've got another one, Luke Parker with a broken arm. 4 weeks.
You got their 3 best players out.
I wouldn't say they're best players, but I would say they're up there.
Arguably.
Yeah. I would say,
not Adams, but Parker and Mills are their best 3. Yep. Are in their best 3.
100%.
So you just lost. Parker goes forward and gets contested ball, kicks goals.
I think.
Jeez, it's not good, Sydney. This is not good, Sydney. You take that quality. Do you know what's funny? That's still a quality side they've got on the park.
I was going to say this gives Rowbottom, Heaney, and the guys from, the halfback, their backline's so strong. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of depth there, but Heaney needs to step up. For the next month, he really needs to step up because I think they're going to really struggle with their midfield rotation. Yeah, that's going to be their issue.
It's the depth in the midfield, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. That's the one thing that I think is lacking when you have 2 very, very good players out that are in your midfield. That's an unfortunate event for them to have Adams and Parker 4 weeks out. That's, frustrating, but great looking squad.
Yep.
Very, very good looking squad. It's weird because last year Sydney went so bad.
They still made the finals. They still made the finals.
I know, but it was just they dropped right off.
And now we've taken 2 of their players out, as good as they are. Let's see. So ins and outs. So they've been busy. So we've got Taylor Adams in from Collingwood, injury ridden already. I'm not sure if this was a really good move. They've picked up. they've picked up Caden Cleary, midfielder, pick 24 from the academy. Will Green as a ruckman, pick 16. Brodie Grundy's a massive in for them. Whether he goes all right, I've got question marks over his mental ability.
Yeah.
Joel Hamley is a free agent from Fremantle. Jordan from Melbourne. Kirk is a category rookie who's injured. And Patrick Snell at pick 53. The outs, they've also been a bit busy. Clark, Gould, Hull Kane, delisted. Hickey retired. Ruckman, McCartan, poor bastard, retired from, concussion. Owen delisted. Rankin delisted. Sheaver delisted. Stevens traded to North Melbourne. But I guess we're just going to stop here. We're just going to stop here. The great man Lance Franklin retired. Joshy, if you can put some of his highlights on. Just going to talk about what this guy actually achieved. He played 182 games at Hawthorn. He played at Sydney. He played 172 games. Kicked 486 goals. He's a 2-time premiership player.
Shut up, John. This is too good to not watch.
They can watch it. Not headphones. Witch's hats.
Cones, yeah.
And he would almost fall over walking in a straight line.
Yeah.
And I think Dunstall just said, you've got to take the good with the bad. He's not going to kick all of them, but he can't kick.
Yeah.
But that arc on the wrong side for a left foot, how many times did he kick goals? By swerving it in.
It was like a famous slice. If you're a golfer,
Yeah.
It was that is a lot. Well, they were some memorable highlights. What a career Franklin had. It was kind of sad to see him.
We'll miss you, buddy.
Yeah, it was sad to see him leave halfway through the season.
Oh, well, I think he'd had enough. He debuted in 2005. He's been playing for a very long time.
What's that? 18 years.
18 years?
Bloody hell, that's a long time. That brings us to our players to watch. Favourite part? Who have you? I mean,
I think Errol Goulden for me.
Goulden?
Jeez, what a super year he had. He's just absolutely like one of the best skills. Great on the outside. He can hit the scoreboard. He's so young too. Can he go to another level? And I think he's going to have to.
What do you mean go to another level? He's fourth in the Brownlow.
He's got to win.
Yeah.
I don't know, another dude, he's not going to get worse.
True.
If he goes backwards, what a waste.
You would
Can he go to another level, which is crazy?
Yeah.
With all the injuries to like Parker and Mills.
Well, I think it's going to be good for him.
Can he go to another level?
Him and Heaney need to step it up.
He's got that ranking left foot.
What's
just
with
dangerous.
that? I feel like that's such a common Sydney and Hawthorn thing to do is get the good left footers. Rampy. Like left foot, like you look at...
Clarko definitely went recruiting at Hawthorn for
John
the left
Longmire
footers.
must just go, beautiful, get another left footer, get Parker, get Golden. Wait, is Parker? He's a
right.
I think he was a
He's a righty. Who's yours, Josh? I'm excited for your one.
Well, mine is, I'm just going to put us back onto the screen. Mine is none other than Grundy. So we're going to play some highlights of the time that he actually has been playing lately, which is back in the 2019 era.
This was very funny because Josh was like, I had to get Collingwood highlights because there's nothing from Melbourne.
Now, from a Sydney standpoint, 16th in hit-outs, their midfield is elite. It is ridiculous. It's overpowered. They've got a lot of good on-ballers. They've got a lot of dash. They've got a lot of silky, classy players in there. Warner as their bull, he's still a silky sort of bull. He's a good player. I think he's only going to get better with age too. Grundy, if he can add to he's arguably, we had in our Collingwood team of the century for the 21st century, people saying Grundy should have been in there. Now, I just personally think if Grundy can add that layer and actually bring the ball down really well, I think they're going to have a premiership push. I think they can actually go a lot further than people think in finals. Obviously we'll touch on our pass mark in a few minutes, but I just think for me, Grundy's that new addition that he's a top tier ruckman in the league, and it just was unfortunate with Melbourne. Like you said, Johnny, and you've said it multiple times in previous videos, it's going to be, the two-way ruckman, two top-tier ruckman didn't work. So I think Grundy, if he can fix up his attitude, I think if he can, the closer he gets to 2027, the more he needs to play a good year. Because
we haven't played one.
What I'm saying is, he's actually got, obviously to the point where he's going to stop being paid. You want to make sure how old is he now?
Late 20s.
He's still got a lot of time in him, and he's a great footballer. I actually like watching him. Anyone who watched the highlights then, he's a very skillful footballer for the size that he is. It's just a shame that he hasn't been, like you said, he's been injury-ridden, but his attitude, I think he's at the right place. I think Sydney's his right home.
I think, so let's put it, leading up to when he signed that deal, it was always Gawn and Grundy. Who was the best ruckman? Now, Gawn was making the All-Australian. I think Grundy only made it once in that period. But it was those two.
Yeah, he's a two-time.
It was those two that was in contention. Speaking and then looking at it, Sydney do have injuries to their midfield. The one thing that Grundy is, he's not your typical, he's not a full
He's not a
tap
traditional
ruckman.
tap ruckman. He can run the ball.
He's actually another midfielder.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of the footy, so he can help.
He can he can get 20 disposals.
Well, he can help with the disposal,
Yeah.
yes. And if he can add, take over the side now, because it would have been hard. The one thing that would have been hard, he went to Melbourne. Gawn is their leader.
Yeah.
First and foremost, he was never going to be the top dog. He gets a new chance in Sydney, sort of away from the Melbourne bubble. Because I think the pressure's on him. Own your spot, become the number one ruckman, which you are. You can be a good mentor for Green, who just got picked up.
Well, can I say this as well? The one thing that I think for them, Sydney football isn't as predominant in Sydney as it is in Melbourne. Melbourne is that bubble. They've got such an emphasis, and it would have been a spotlight on Grundy, no doubt.
Apparently, Sydney have more supporters than Collingwood now.
What?
And then they did a practice game, and there was no one there.
Oh, yeah, but I think there would be a lot of Sydney supporters for their team because it's the only team.
And Sydney's bigger than Melbourne.
Greater West, I mean, you've got Greater Western Sydney, but it's such a new squad, 8 years in.
Yeah.
So there's such heritage with Sydney Swans.
It's not the same. The media's trouble. I mean, Franklin went there, who was big.
Yeah.
But yeah, the media pressure is not the same as it is playing in Melbourne.
No. Well, Sydney's more like the AFL look after Sydney Swans a fair bit.
They have living expenses, you name it. Sydney and Brisbane have been looked after a lot.
Yeah. So no, that if Grundy, I think he's very good at getting the ball down, but he's not only that, he'll add that run. He can kick a goal. He's a good footballer. So I really think
he's definitely good football. I just haven't seen it for 3 years.
I know. No, and I don't think anyone has. So, but I don't think he's going to have that ample amount of pressure straight away. Obviously, he's coming in, and you know what the good thing for him is, and I think he is this sort of player. He's the number one ruckman straight away.
I do like that for him. It's going to be his side in terms of he's not answering. Don't play him in the forward line. He's a ruckman. Play in the midfield. Have a rest. Get back on.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Now, where does that take us? Where are they finishing? What's their pass mark?
Well, I think their pass mark, I mean, having just, won a made a grand final a couple of years ago and, they went out. I think for them is to get back to, winning a final. That's mine for them. I don't expect anything more. They've got a lot of injuries. That really hurts. Where I think they're going to sit, I think they're going to be sitting between 7th and 12th.
Yep.
They were a very hard team to rank because I could see them. One good thing Sydney have, so under John Longmire's tenure, he's got them to 4 grand finals and they've won one. They beat really good Hawthorn side. They lost to Hawthorn. They lost to the Dogs and they've got smashed by Geelong. They've been consistently playing finals. Since my whole life, with numerous coaches, Sydney has always been playing finals. I think for them, so that's why I don't want to. Out of all the clubs to say they're going to miss, even though I think they might, the Bloods have a good culture.
Yeah.
So I think I wouldn't be surprised to make the finals, but that's not good enough for them. I think for them is to go to the second round, so at least make a semi this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had high hopes. I see them between 5th and 8th.
Yeah.
I think that's where they can finish. And, I mean, organically that makes sense that they need to win a final. I think, like you said, they've always been up there. Hawthorn, Sydney. Geelong, those teams throughout the lifetime. Collingwood. Well, Collingwood not as much. Collingwood now, in my lifetime.
Josh, they made prelims, grand finals.
Yeah. I'm saying when I was very young, when I'm talking about the moments I can remember, mate. 12 onwards.
They would. Don't worry about this, guys. 2008, they made the semis. 09 prelim, then they won a granny. Then they made a granny and lost. Then a prelim. They've been constantly dominating. Yes, I
remember they won against St Kilda. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yep, I do. But I'm saying since then, up until now.
Okay. They've had a couple of years that were bad. That was it.
I need to go through this. Anyway, we're not going to do this on air, but that wraps up everything. You don't have any more final thoughts? Anything that you want to share with the viewers?
I think we've ran out of room in previewing each side before the season. The reason we didn't do St Kilda tonight was we need to do Sydney because tomorrow we're doing something completely new. What we've talked about, we're going to be previewing opening round, which we're super excited about. We will get the preview for St Kilda, West Coast and Dogs. They're not playing this week, so they weren't priority. We will fit them in where we can next week, but next week we are super excited because it's going to be like a show. As we said, we're going to preview each round. We're going to go through the sides, going to see who we think is going to win. And then after each round, we're then going to do a review of the whole round, going through each game, dissecting it all, and just super excited, actually.
It's going to be really good. We're going to make sure for everyone who's watching, it's a very, very easy experience. So we're going to chapter for anything. We're going to make sure we chapter the segments so that it's really easy for you guys to navigate. There will be obviously you support your own team. We'll review, you can go through and see those games specifically for whoever you follow and whoever you want to watch. So only other thing, I'll put you on the spot, Johnny. Have we figured out a name? Do you want to tell the viewers? Or have I thrown a curveball?
You've thrown me under the bus.
I've thrown you under the bus.
Actually, just for a bit of laugh, comment what you think a good football show name is.
Yeah, so I mean,
we're not saying we're going to pick it. By the way, I would just love some ideas.
Yeah, we need.
He actually has thrown me on the bus. I didn't think this question was coming. I'm actually happy to keep it as Sports for Dummies and like that. But whatever your ideas,
I'll give the viewers an idea in my head.
What's your idea?
I think the AFL for Dummies show. That's what I was thinking. Just to
AFL for Dummies. Yeah, I said that.
AFL for Dummies.
AFL for Dummies. I don't think we need show.
AFL for Dummies show.
AFL doesn't even acknowledge me. AFL for Dummies. AFL for Dummies. Show.
It's not that Borat said. Paul's not.
We're black. This suit is black, not.
This suit is not black.
Anyway, this suit is grey, black, not.
Oh shit! All right, guys.
We need to work on it. But thank you very much for watching again. I'm not sure if we said it on this one. Yeah, we have. Doesn't matter. Please like, subscribe, ring the fucking bell, and we will see you tomorrow to preview opening round.
Awesome, guys. See you tomorrow. We're super, super pumped. We can't wait. It's only going to get better. So thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.